I just when I thought I had them for violating the Public Records Act in Oregon. Just, I thought I got them, but they put it up just in the nick of time before they violated the actual Oregon Public Records law. They just beat it. Good for you, Trimet. You're one step ahead of me again. All right. Well, I don't really have time for this, but I do want to hear the full Shirley Block testimony.
3 minutes. And so we'll go ahead and begin. And I'm going to ask Yar if anyone has raised their hand to call the first person.
Good morning. Kimberly?
Yes, thank you. President Simmons, we do have two people who have raised their hands to speak today. Our first speaker will be Shirley Block.
Oh, great. Thank you. Well, good morning, Shirley.
Trimet board members and Mr. DeSouza.
It makes me laugh.
How's everybody doing? I would like to say I want to appreciate the good relationship that we have building with Trimet now. It has changed tremendously with the employment of new management division. And I'm speaking of Mr. DeSouza taking his position, Nate Holden taking his position, has actually made this whole new relationship more smoother. And with the rollover of the contract.
You know, Shirley, I really think you should send in Frederick Casey to talk. Okay, really. You know, I said this before. Your strong point is not public testimonies. Okay, so put somebody in there that has a better communication skills.
It gives us plenty of time to actually think about 2 years from now what we're going to do in the future, the safety of the operators. I was on a call yesterday with Jeremy in the maintenance department talking about how to get the shields, get money for the shields for the bus operators to improve them.
What do you mean get money for you? They're rolling in money over there, Shirley. They have so much money they don't know what to do with it. What do you mean? How are we going to find the money? Here we go with the how will we pay for it nonsense that we're subjected to constantly by these oligarchs who think we're stupid. Why are you parroting the oligarchy? What do you mean where are you going to get the money? What do you mean? Do you follow these board meetings and how much pork they shovel out of there?
I mean, it's just such a breath of fresh air to sit before this board now to speak on a positive side rather than bumping heads and just all the scrutiny that's going on. And I want to look forward to many more years of doing this exact thing. It's huge out there what's going on with the world now, how people's minds are just always on assault that's going on.
Oh my God.
When I pick up my phone, I get these text messages where operator or service worker or somebody, one of our members, your employees, have been assaulted. So I want to say thank you to Jeremy for reaching out to me yesterday, taking the time to say, Shirley, this is what I'm doing. Is it okay if I use your name to say we are in this together? And it's just hard.
Oh no, we are in this. No, you're not in this together. You're not in the driver's seat. Jeremy's not in the driver's seat. Mr. DeSouza is not in the driver's seat. You're not in this together. Don't say that. You're insulting us. I'm sorry, sir. You know I like you, but please give us a break.
For me to say thank you, Jeremy, for doing this for our members. Supervisors getting hit over the heads and stuff when they're trying to do their jobs. It's hurtful. And I want this board to know that ATU stands behind Trimet, trying to make anything safe for all of our members. How we appreciate the extra effort going on board. And thank you, Sam, for what you're doing for this organization. I really have confidence that we can once again move to the number one transit and take it away from C-Tran.
That was funny. That was funny.
You know I had to get on Sean. But again,
That was
thank you
funny.
guys. I really appreciate this. Being number one to speak is so huge to me because I
Being
have
number
another
one.
engagement that I must go to. But again, thank all of you for stepping forward, helping our members and making a safe place to good. Because this rollover contract, we had the most amount of members to vote in the history of Trimet. Thank you all.
Wait,
Appreciate
why do you mean that? What? Okay, first of all, okay, I don't look. I don't know. I don't like it, man. I don't like this coziness between the management and her. I just don't like it.
it.
Thank you so much, Shirley. You have a blessed day.
Okay, let's who's next? Might as well listen to the next
The
one.
next person to speak, Kimberly.
Speaker today is Lee Helfand.
Good morning, Lee.
My name is Lee Helfand. I use they, them pronouns, and I am the Campaign and Programs Director with Opal and also with Bus Riders Unite. So good morning to the board and General Manager DeSue, and Shirley, it's always good to hear from you as well. First, I'll say that I was just kind of reviewing the survey that went out about the transportation improvement plan, and I was just looking at how many resources are going to the zero emission bus program. And while we are definitely supportive of any way that we can reduce our collective impact against any environmental injustices, and we really appreciate that framing, it's also important to name that through electrification and the build out of this infrastructure, it means that a lot of other resources cannot go to other important programs and other important pieces of the budget. So I know that this is currently out in the community to get feedback, and I know folks have weighed in. I would definitely encourage that this conversation continue to just show up in our different committees. I think obviously safety is a huge issue in our communities and on transit, for example. I would love to see more of this funding actually going towards something like the safety response team, which I think, although we have, some concerns about, some critiques of, it's also been an important step forward. And I want to thank everyone who has been involved in that important work so far. And also, I think it would be really important to have more funding go towards access for folks with disabilities and elderly folks. When we look at kind of the picture of this breakdown, it seems like this is a huge chunk of money that is being spent on what I believe is being called a pilot program. So if it's truly a pilot, I would just encourage that we actually treat it as such and make sure that we can build it out in a more phased approach over time rather than devoting a large sum of resources initially in the way that it looks broken down here. And I know that because this is going out for community input, I'm not sure all of our community is actually aware of how electrification has been prioritized. But if you do a quick Google search around the inequities that are being built out around electrification, you'll see some of these critiques coming up. Thank you.
Thank you, Lee. Kim, is there anyone else wanting to speak?
No, that concludes our list.
All right. Yes. The latest, obsession, Agenda 2030, is to electrify everything. Meanwhile, they don't have fucking actual transit anywhere in the country right now. They're like obsessed with electrification, and there's no transit system. Now, those of us who listen to the scanner know it's a fucking disaster. It's a disaster. Trimet is a disaster. They're not the only one. There's loads of places that are disasters besides Trimet, but they're all in the same spot. They've all allowed their systems to collapse. They've all done nothing to mitigate the collapse. But their capital projects, their electrification programs, everything goes forward at 100% or more than 100%, while their transit system is basically a joke. Okay, and neither Shirley nor this guy, or I guess it was a guy, they, them, I'm not sure, but that's not, I don't know, doesn't matter, Neither of the speakers addressed the complete and utter shit show that Trimet transit service actually is. Neither of them talked about that, which is unfortunate because that's really the only thing that's relevant with Trimet is their transit system. The rest of Trimet is all funding for the elites. You know, all of these capital projects, all of these bus buying, all of this shit. Follow the money, folks. Follow the money. You'll see whoever gets that money is the recipient of the government grants. Meanwhile, the riders are stranded. So you have a failed transit system on the one hand, and on the other hand, you have these people like Shirley and even this speaker who was trying to criticize them, but he didn't want to do it. You see, he was trying to say, why is electrification a priority when you don't have a transit system? So yes, nobody said, hey, this goddamn transit system of yours is a goddamn disaster. What are you going to do about it? Nobody brought that up. Over and out.